And we're doing a few more examples of percentage problems. This time we're looking at markup. The process will continue to be the same. So if you are doing the percentage problems, you are always going to follow that same protocol. First, start by doing a diagram and think about, are you doing an increase problem or a decrease problem? If you don't remember if it's an increase or decrease problem, just check on those words. Remember, words like discount and decrease is when you're going to do a decrease problem. Words like commission, markup, tax, tip, or percent increase are going to be increase problems. When you're doing a decrease problem, you have to subtract from the original to get the new value. When you are doing an increase problem, you're going to add to the original to get your new values, right? And then there's those steps that we talked about in a video. And if you follow those steps in sequence, you're always going to make sure to do a good job. So let's apply those steps. In this markup problem, I have a car that I buy for $3,000, but then I sell it for $3,900. What is the percent markup? Notice that I have an original value of 3,000, which is increasing to 3,900. That makes sense because markup is about increasing. So I set up a diagram, which is my first step, as an increase problem. And I set up the 3,000 with the 100% because that's my original value. Now I know that the markup is a certain percentage that I'm not sure what it is, but I do know that my new value is 3,900. So you could very easily figure out what the markup amount is, right? It's got to be 900, right? And so I'm going to use 900 to solve the problem to try to figure out my actual percent markup. Now, notice how delicate you have to be here because if you had used 3,900 in your problem, you would not solve for the percent markup. You would solve for the new percentage. We talked about that. This is paired up with a certain new percentage. If I want to know the markup, I have to actually use the markup amount. But it's easy to figure out how much the markup was. It's just a difference between the original and the new value, right? Okay, so then let's set up the is off. It starts by putting the 100 on the bottom right and then the percent up here. Since I'm looking for the percent, I'm going to put an X there. Then I put the original value, which is my 3,000, and then I put the actual markup amount over here, which is the 900. I could put the 3,900, but once again, that would not give me the markup percentage. That will give me the new percentage. So that's why I do the 900. Cross multiply, 3,000 times X makes 3,000. 900 times 100 makes 90,000. 3,000 is the number that's next to the X. So I'm going to do both sides, divide both sides by 3,000. The 3,000s cancel out and my answer is going to be 90,000 divided by 3,000, which comes out to 30% markup. That makes sense, right? A 30% markup could bring you the price up to 3,900. By the way, if you had used 3,900 up here instead of 900, your answer will be 130%. And then you just have to realize that I'm not marking it up by 130%. 100% of that is my original. So the difference is only 30%. So if this right here, your new percentage, is 130%, the actual markup, the jump, is just 30%. So there's actually two ways of doing that problem. I like doing it by figuring out what the markup is, the amount, and then using that in the problem. Let's do another example that's a little less common, but that's actually trying to figure out what the price is after a markup. So if I bought a car for $5,000 and marked it up by 30%, what is the new markup amount and the new price? So notice that this time I know that the percentage increase is 30%. And I know the original value is 5,000. What I'm looking for is that new price and the amount markup amount. So the 100% is always goes in the bottom on your is off setup. The percentage goes next, and that's 30. So I put that on the top right. Then I put my original value on the bottom left, and that's 5,000. I am looking for the part or the markup. So I put an X for that since I don't know what it is. Cross multiply. X times 100 makes 100X. 5,000 times 30 makes 150,000. So then if you divide both sides by 100, because 100 is what's next to the X, you're going to cancel out the hundreds, and your answer will be the 150,000 divided by 100, which gives you 1,500. So the markup will be about $1,500. Now that's just the markup. If I want the new total, because it's an increase problem, I have to get the original plus the markup to get the new total. And in this case, it would be the 5,000 plus the 1,500, giving me a new price of $6,500 when I'm trying to buy that car or sell that car. So that is how you would do these types of markup problems. On our last video, we're going to review more simpler is-off problems. I'll see you guys then.